It is true feeling coming into the paint. We could say that Tiffany's work is very autobiographical, but this would be very reductive, I think. As a matter of fact, she's talking about the time we're living in. She's talking about the struggles for equality, for human dignity. In a way, movements such as Black Lives Matter or Me Too movements. So briefly, you could say that with strength, she points out to human vulnerability in a global societal crisis. So now I would leave the word to Tiffanie. She has prepared a PowerPoint presentation, so I would ask you to switch off your mics. And afterwards, there will be time to make comments or to ask questions. Okay, thank you. So let me share the screen.
One thing I also forgot to mention is that this meeting is being recorded. So if anyone has any concerns about that, you can, of course, turn off your video and anonymize yourself if you prefer.
Okay. Okay. So Tiffanie, it's your time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffanie Peters. For those of you who don't know me, but I'm sure we all know each other. And I am presenting my capstone for my final year here at AUR. I paint what's behind my eyes. I am interested in displaying how the world affects me through investigations of identity, emotions, and natural atmospheres. I paint mostly singular and isolated individuals. With these paintings, I often let the medium dictate the visual outcome. This is a step away from observational painting towards a more organic and expressive approach, which is completely free. Therefore, I paint what's behind my eyes. I will present 4 chapters of paintings that are grouped together by their similarities of content, concept, and the statements they make. The paintings reinforce each other. Chapter 1, Truth and Vulnerability. The first chapter consists of 3 paintings. This is the first painting I created for the second semester of my capstone. The concept developed out of my reaction of anger when there was an attempt to suppress my cultural capital. The fist has become solid, hard, cold, strong like marble. It is an absolute symbol of rebellion and strength connected to my vulnerability. Porcelain heart, fragile and cold, warm hands, a shell of refined materials and blood. Raw emotions run through the porcelain structure. Porcelain heart, warm hands do their best. I offer her to you. She is impossibly delicate and full of raw emotion. I see you, but you do not see me. I hide a lot of things. My camouflage is my protection until I reach safety. The left and the right protect the center, truth and vulnerability. To be authentic, one must be vulnerable. Chapter 2, On Display. Two souls not affected by the outside world. I hear your words, but they do not affect me. On the left is a young warrior in a fragile body. The light at the nape of her neck supports her delicacy and dignity. Her stature resists. She challenges your rules. Resistance. On the right sits a confident young man. He is the image of sophistication, untouched by your gaze. For these two portraits, the dominant pigments are warm and cold umbers paired with ochre. These portraits resemble photographs I have collected from Dubois' photography exposition at the 1900 Paris Exposition. On display is my interpretation of vintage photography, my figures display exposure. Chapter 3, Romantic Projections. This chapter explores romantic ideas of how my emotions correspond with natural elements. It is the desire to become one with nature. The Tiber is so angry, it's winter. Angry, but not at me. I see its beauty, its passion, its heartbeat. It is alive, wild and free. We are the same. Miniature glass waterfalls with pastel endings. She creates, day after day. One day, two will become one. This is the painting I painted for my AEE project. I have included it in this presentation because the story of this painting chronicles my last year at AUR and the return to tranquility. It is a reflection combined with a future projection. To move beyond. There have been rough waters, but in the end, peace will return. For the third painting of this group, I reused an old canvas. During the painting process, I decided to incorporate a portion of the old painting with the new painting. The figure is surrounded by warmth, vermilion, ochre. The dark background illuminates the figure. She glows. Her ever-expanding aura is present. With these paintings, a single identity is surrounded by a dreamlike environment. The narrative represents my connection with Mother Nature's natural elements. To be captivated by the movement of tumbling waves, or to be put at peace by the silence of a tranquil forest. This is how I interpret what Mother Nature has revealed to me, my personal dialogue with nature. Chapter 4, A Female Narrative. Two paintings describe stories of two different women. I will use text from Toni Morrison's book, The Bluest Eye, and lyrics from a song by Sade called Jezebel. Piccola, pretty eyes, pretty blue eyes, big blue pretty eyes. Alice has blue eyes. Alice runs. She runs with her blue eyes. Blue eyes like Miss Forrest's blue blouse eyes. Blue sky eyes. Morning glory blue eyes, storybook blue eyes. Each night, without fail, she prays for blue eyes. Jezebel, what a belle. Looks like a princess in her new dress. How did you get that? Do you really want to know? She said. It would seem she's on her way. It's more than just a dream. She put on her stockings and her shoes, had nothing to lose. She said it was worth it. Reach for the top, and the sun is going to shine. Each woman struggles with how the outside world views her beauty, her outside appearance. On the left, her beauty is idealized. Piccola wants the ideal form of beauty, which is to have blue eyes. On the right, Jezebel must wear a red dress to attract money so she can survive. Behind my eyes. So these are artists that I'm inspired by, a work that I really enjoy looking at all the time. Egon Schiele. Schiele's work is linear and translucent. He distorts figures in a beautifully grotesque way. I really love the way he illustrates hands. They're long and gangly. Jennifer Packer. Packer's use of translucent oil paint becomes vibrant with the color palette she has chosen. Her figures emerge from a dreamlike atmosphere. Lynette Yiadom Boakit, one of my very favorite artists. This is a quote that she said, that she says, my starting point is always the language of painting itself and how that relates to the subject matter. I think that that's beautifully said. And to add to that, I think the way in which an artist paints is their specific language. It's their personal narrative. It's how one speaks through painting. Alice Neal. Love her because she is an independent, strong woman, does whatever she wants. She stayed true to painting portraits in a time where the popular art movement was action painting, expressionism, and she was like, no, I'm painting portraits. One of her quotes, even when I'm not working, I'm always analyzing people. And I feel like I analyze people a lot, both physically and by their reactions. It's just observation, always observing. And Bob Thompson. This is an artist that is new to me. I really like his practice because his artistic practice centers around reinterpreting themes and subjects of the old masters and injecting jazz era influence with his work. So I just love his combination of and how he's painting.
Okay, so here we have a collage of the 10 paintings Tiffanie has been doing during the last few months. So if you want to turn on your mics, you can ask questions or make some comments. And I would say I would also make a big, great applause for Tiffanie. Yes, you have your mics on.
Brava, brava.
Bravissima.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Well done, Tiffany.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first, I wanted just to say thank you, everyone, for coming and spending time with me and taking time out of your day to look at my work. And just, I know everyone's super busy, so I just wanted to say thank you for attending.
Okay.
And if you use the raise hand function, because we'll want to keep the artworks on the screen. If you use the raise hand function, then it'll be easiest to be able to tell if you want to make a comment. So
I see Stephanie wants to talk.
Hi, Tiff.
Hi,
Congratulations. This was amazing. I've been following you this entire semester and just see these artworks coming to life, and it's amazing. The presentation was so poetic. It was so nice. I just wanted to congratulate you. It was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how to put my hand function up, so I'll just put my real hand up. Hi, Tiffany. Congratulations. I got interrupted actually at the end of your presentation, then, so I didn't catch some of the artists that you spoke about. But I just wanted to second what Stephanie said, which like what a beautifully well-paced and kind of lyrical presentation that you gave that really enriched the reading of the work. And yeah, it's just lovely to see again how you've kind of made another step since I last saw the work at Christmas. And it's kind of developed into quite you kind of combined the two things that we were working with at the beginning, right? There was kind of like a
definitely
break at the beginning between the portraiture and between kind of the landscapes. And within this larger body of work, you've managed to kind of key into all those things. So congratulations, I'm really happy for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Lauren has a question.
Okay. So Lauren has her hand up. Lauren?
Yeah, I almost don't know where to begin. I thought it was very powerful, very provocative. Almost all of the paintings, in some ways, I think, can be grouped within a sort of overarching theme of the gaze, or the viewer's gaze, and there's a provocation there. One of the things that I find quite interesting in the difference in seeing all the paintings in this one slide in contrast with the way many of them were presented in the presentation, is that what I thought was that some of them were meant to be seen as triptychs.
Meaning like there were three parts of the painting?
Yeah, but also, you know, as I say, they're all up here separate. I mean, I don't know, it might be useful to go back to one of your presentation slides where you presented them as a triptych. I think these...
Yes, exactly. The first three was a triptych, no?
Yeah, exactly. The fist, the porcelain heart, and I'm not sure I got the exact, but you know, the portrait in the shadows.
Do you want me to go back there in the presentation?
I would actually, because I think there's.
Okay.
I mean, I'm quite interested in the idea that they were separate works of art, but within your presentation, they looked like a triptych. And I think that has interesting interpretive sort of assessments as a viewer, you know, nothing perhaps to do with how you conceive them individually, but I thought this was very striking format that obviously, you know, triptychs have a very long history, a religious history. in terms of altarpieces. Yeah, that's it, slide number 10. So in some ways, you know, when you see it as a triptych, that it showed very beautifully your journey as a Black woman, going through various emotions, both external and internal. And here the fist can be both external and internal. You know, this is an emotion, this is how you're feeling. And the heart, and it's quite interesting, you know, here we have this difference of interpretation between the viewer and the artist of a porcelain heart. And of course, you know, porcelain is this very fragile material that can break very clearly. And, you know, so this is a kind of inverted external and internal image. And then, of course, the image on the right, which is clearly, I'm pretty certain that's a self-portrait.
Actually, no.
Oh, well, you know, I see certain,
but it's not like I didn't base it off of my face, but I mean, it is totally about me for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, there's such powerful images. This portrait. I mean, I wrote in the shadows. And of course, you can take that in many cultural ways. I mean, in connection with the introduction that was given in terms of Black Lives Matter and Me Too. So, you know, I'm sorry to take us off that last slide, but you did this on a few occasions, and that it really does show that journey. I thought these three paintings were incredibly powerful. And I'd just like to talk about the blue eyes and the Jezebel. So I don't know if we can go to that. Yeah. So the gaze, you know, so your portrait, your previous two portraits in the ochre, the way you describe them, the tradition of portraiture of looking out at the viewer, and that acknowledgement process, which in the tradition of portraiture is one of confidence, in a way, confidence in society, a declaration of status. And what we have here, it seems to me, is when you put the two together, and you opened your presentation with this one on the left, and I thought it was very interesting the way you described it as a representation of ideal beauty. So before I make my next comment, I just want you to tell me a little bit more from your viewpoint as an artist, not from how I saw this, the choice of the clothing for Blue Eyes and the color.
Well, the inspiration for this painting, like I said, was from the book Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, and it's about, I have not finished it completely, but it's about a young little Black girl, and gosh, I don't know what time period, maybe the 50s, but you know, she thinks that she's ugly because she doesn't have blue eyes like her neighborhood, her friend who's a white girl with blue eyes. So I've been inspired by this for a minute, so I wanted to paint it. The clothing and the hair, I pull inspiration from a lot of different images. I collect images from everywhere, online, vintage magazines, vintage books. I take photographs every day. So basically from those images, I group them, and then I look at the images to figure out what is important to me. Why am I fascinated by these images? So that's how I came up with this painting, but it's basically based from the book. Now, like my ideal version, like what's my ideal version of beauty? I don't think there is a one ideal representation of ideal beauty. And I learned that a lot, probably like, what is it, 7 years ago? I mean, I have a background of fashion, in the fashion industry. So working in that industry, I mean, what was drilled into my head was fashion model. That is the ideal form of beauty, so once I began taking life drawing classes, and you're drawing these nude models from life, and they are not models, they're art models, all different shapes and sizes, nationalities. And I saw the beauty in every single one of them, their uniqueness, their quirks, their whatever, their vulnerability. It's like my whole world changed, and everybody is beautiful in their own individual way. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'll give you all the crazy thoughts then that went through my head. Obviously, I don't know this particular Toni Morrison book, but that she's clearly a writer that's addressed Black issues. And so obviously, blue eyes is associated with people who are white. So when I see the use of the white, I automatically see a subtext. Perhaps it's the white person's cultural guilt here, that there's I thought quite a very strong provocative message about the ideal beauty being the Caucasian, woman based on, beautiful Greek ideals of beauty. Seeing it in connection with Jezebel. I mean, you must have chosen that word, that title. And so, Jezebel was a seductress. And here we have the red dress and a much more provocative pose. So when you put them together, and when you were describing Jezebel, you said something about surviving. And so automatically with that particular word and the title of the work, one is thinking of prostitution. So then, I'll just tell you where I'm going with this. When we come and the two are placed together and you look at what Blue Eyes is wearing, particularly the headgear, could be seen as an idealized version of what a cotton picker would have worn in the southern states during slavery. And of course, we all know that the women were abused by the plantation owners. So, this is from the introduction and from, your choices and your words, perhaps I'm over-interpreting, but the two paintings together seem to me very powerful in terms of, the history of Black people and colonialism and, white suppression. And then I'll shut up. I had another overlay on top of this, which in some ways I I was expecting you to say perhaps that one of the artists that had influenced you was Gauguin. And I'm thinking in particular of his Tahiti experience, that sort of the other, the exotic, and his combination of going back to a kind of other paradise, but also the idea of the woman, which is, you know, not just with Gauguin, as mother or virgin and whore at the same time. So that's what I saw. But I thought, you know, fantastic collection, a fantastic journey, and, you know, wonderful, if extremely provocative portraits and paintings. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for your words. I'm always interested, and I love to hear what people, you know, what their take is on the work, because everyone always sees something different. So yeah, thank you for your words.
Good. So I see that Professor Buaning, Marina would like to talk also, and Teresa.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, congratulations, Tiffanie.
Thank you.
Really, really big work, big body of work. I really appreciate. And because Tiffanie and me, we worked also for, I don't know, 3 semesters on printmaking. And what I found interesting that in the printmaking, the last semester, but also the semester before, a lot of themes already came up, right? Which you then developed on a painterly way. For example, the heart. One of your first works was a huge heart. and also with a woman around. So yeah, I find that really interesting and perhaps also very significant for your work, that you sort of develop your ideas slowly, but you stay on going, developing them in different medias, in different contexts, with different themes, and also this nature and woman. In the printmaking, you did a couple of works where it was very intense together, and I see that again. So yeah, I really love that sort of this continuity in your work, and exploring really different techniques, because also in every media you express yourself, and especially you also in a different way, but there is always an underflow which is sort of the same, which is always you. It's and yeah, so yeah, I found that really interesting to see that, and I think yeah, you did a few really beautiful paintings, and I think it will be, I'm very curious which will come in the future.
Well, thank you so much, Marina. Yeah, I totally agree. I like that I'm able to kind of still, even though I am working with different mediums, the theme still is the same. So that I'm excited that I'm, you know, I can still kind of pull things together that are, instead of, you know, being over here, being over there, and just everywhere scattered, which, you know, sometimes totally happens. So so
Right.
there's like an underlining, kind of like a pace, you know, like a heartbeat, a continuous heartbeat.
Right. Yeah, and I think this makes your work very rich and interesting in a way, because there are different, how you say that in English, strings from different sides, and they come all from the different sides and go to one theme, let's say, a little bit like that. And sometimes you don't realize in the beginning, and then when you do more and more, suddenly the things sort of come together. I think it's also a rather female way of working. I actually discovered more with other colleagues also work like that. Okay, yeah, thank you again.
Thank you, Marina.
Okay, thank you. So there's Teresa, who would like to speak.
Tiffany.
Teresa.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea. Thank you for inviting me. This was amazing, to echo Stephanie's words. I met you, I guess, at the beginning of your journey, and I am so pleased to see what a strong artist you are, both as a literary writer and as a painter. I had no idea, and I really enjoyed the way you described your paintings and the quotes you used and the inspirations that you took. Toni Morrison happens to be one of my favorite writers, and The Bluest Eye was one of the first books that I read of hers, and I totally understand the inspiration that you pulled from her work, and the way you described the pieces really demonstrated your prowess with both the written word and translating that into visual arts. So congratulations. This was really well done. It was a pleasure to listen to. It was a pleasure to see. I'm very happy to see the journey that you've made throughout your academic career here at AUR, and I'm very impressed with what you have presented here today. And certainly I have learned along the way very much from your papers and from your works, and I have used them in my classes. So I'm grateful to you for sharing all of that with me and with us and with the larger AUR community. Congratulations. This is amazing.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I really, I really enjoyed meeting you, and also, of course, your help with my first paper. Oh, yes. So yeah, I'm so glad that you were able to attend and that
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's give the word to Andrea Parker.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Really, really nice. I would like to just sign my name under everything that Lauren said about the triptych. She's absolutely right, and it's like three parts of the body that work well together to give a sense of completeness when you see them like that. You know, hand, torso, and face. My favorite, I must say, is the Jezebel painting. And I love it. It's actually gives the technique gives the impression that she's moving and turning towards you when you see it. It's not as static as the idealized beauty, which kind of to me suggests that things that are idealized in the end are boring. So I really, you know, if I had to pick one to have on a wall, it would be the Jezebel. And it's kind of grittier and more dynamic, at least in my eyes. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the Jezebel one is one of my favorite paintings too, just because I was able to just kind of be a little bit more free and not worry about being super just precise. I don't know. I just was able to just, I feel like a lot of passion came out of this painting, especially with red.
Okay, so I would stop sharing, and well, congratulations. Good fortune, a lot of success with your career, Tiffany, your artistic career. You've done a great job, and I would say, well, a lovely summer to everyone. Thank you for participating. And okay, I don't know if Genevieve wants to say something else.
No, you've said it beautifully.
Okay.
Well, I would just like to say thank everyone again. Thank you so much for attending and taking time out of your day to watch me present and not be super nervous and yeah. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It really means a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Okay. Oh, great.